Okay, cool guys, everybody's phones on silent. Putting the devices up on the top, please. You need water. Okay.
There's water here. So this is. Bona ba mic is gone. Yeah, Pamban. So gaan we weer. Nou, mensen, it's agulating.
Okay, I'm just going to get water quickly, then I'm back. Alright guys. You want one here?
Huh? Yes, please, yes. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? We're good. It's very tense here.
Big game.
It is a big game, yeah. I can feel it as well here in the room. But they qualify, didn't they? Yeah. We apologize on their behalf. Sorry.
I asked you on water, hi. Okay, good afternoon guys. Welcome to our Captain's Media Conference. We've got Assistant Coach Mzwandile and Captain Kolisi. They're just going to start off with a quick comment in isiXhosa and then we can get into the media conference.
Umdlalo omkhulu kakhulu. England odlala kwabo seyazi ba liqela elinzima kakhulu. Seyazi ba bebe unlucky the past two results abo because of balose game last minute la midlalo bebedlala ne All Blacks ne Australia and seyazi ba kunzima kakhulu xa udlala nabo kwabo apha eTwickenham and yazi noba into bazawujonga kumdlalo wethu we-semi-final World Cup basebenzisela umdlalo ze-reference ngendlela abaselekte ngayo iteam yabo xa ujonga bafana njengoStuart Pangasemva ababuyele etimini yabo so izokuba umdlalo onzima kakhulu but kodwa ke siyayazi nathi sidlungiselele siliqala lamabhokobhoko and sithi make sure ba sizoperforma sikwazi ukudlalela nabalandeli bethu eSouth Africa.
Happening? You know where to go?
Do you want to translate now? Can you translate for us?
Okay, questions guys?
Yes.
See, after even back-to-back defeats, everyone was falling in the split team, but that makes it more dangerous.
100%. I mean, we've been there too. We know what it's like, and that's when we've been able to turn up. I think we did it we lost in Australia, I think 2 games in a row when we had to play the All Blacks. We lost against Australia and then lost again, and we had to go against the All Blacks and we played them the second game. Those things sometimes can pull a team together. So we're sitting here, we're knowing what enemy is going to bring, and they're at home and playing at Twickenham is very special for opposition teams and for them as well. Obviously, it's huge. The crowd will get behind them. So, and also our record here, is one that we also want to rectify. We've got a lot to play for, and we've got a lot to fix from last week. We won last week, but you could see the players weren't happy with the way we play because we play our standard is the most important. Of course, we want to win, but we've got so much that we want to rectify, and this is a very important game for us as a group.
You talked about the defeat, but what have you actually made of what you've seen in the play?
From my side as a coach, because I've analyzed, I go a lot deeper into how they perform, and losing in the last minutes of the game doesn't make you a bad team, and these guys, they've been playing very well. That's why I said earlier on, they've been just unlucky. They're at the end where the other teams also, they've managed to, to get lucky in the game. Once again, if you look at, go back last year when they played in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, they struggled to get into the semi-final. Their performance in the quarterfinal was not clinical. And all of a sudden, everyone thought that they don't stand a chance to win the game against us in the semi-finals. And you saw we had to come up with different plans to win the game. They put us very well under pressure in the game. Caught a lot of people by surprise, and that's why we as a coaching staff, I don't think
yes, there's a lot to take from those games. But one thing I know for sure, when you talk about desperation, people think desperation is a negative word. Desperation means that there will be more motivation from their side also to win the game because of they want to turn the results. We've been there like touch now. We know how it is to be in the changing room where you've lost 3 to 4 games, and you can't ask for any better team than the world champions, That was us in 2018. We wanted to win against the All Blacks because we knew that people back at home will give us a chance once we beat the All Blacks. And we've managed to achieve that in Wellington, It's the same position now. We understand very well how desperate they are in the changing room. And once again, they've got quality players that can do the job. Getting back Stuart into the team, I think that's a clear message that, listen, we're going to come, we're going to play test match rugby, we're going to be physical, there's going to be strong kicking game. So yeah, we've got a lot of respect for them. And once again, I'm still saying this. If we're not at our best tomorrow, England has got a good chance also to win the game, more especially in front of their crowd. That's one thing that was nice last week when we played in Edinburgh. The crowd, they're very good people. They're not really on top of your head. When you play at Twickenham, you know that 85,000 people in the stand, they are behind their team. They're also part of the game. So we can't afford to not to be at our best, So they are very quality side. They've just been unlucky in the past 2 games at the end.
The team's made 12 changes to the starting side, just a week, just sort of a few days between games. What does that say about South Africa at the moment?
When first Coach Rassie came in 2018, he came and he told us his plan and plan with his coaching staff, Coach Stick and everyone. And there were 3 pillars. And the first one was winning, transformation, and squad depth. And that's what we've been wanting to do since 2018. And sometimes plans change. We plan to play a certain team and then the team doesn't do well and he has to do all those kind of changes. This year, Volkolo have become the 50th player to play in the Springbok jersey this year alone. And that's what he's trying to do. While we're winning, we're bringing squad depth because sometimes things happen, injuries happen. You want to make sure you have so many players, in your pool that you can pull anyone. And if someone is hurt or someone is unavailable, that you don't stress, that guys have gotten the opportunity, especially this year. A lot of the younger guys are playing big games against Australia and New Zealand, in the rugby championship. And that's what you want. And that's what we're working on as a group. And it's tough because the players want to play. We all want to play every single game. But the team is the most important. We know what the coaching staff is trying to do. Everybody buys in. If you don't make the team when you find out your name is not in the team, you sulk for a couple of minutes, but then you become the best you can to help the next guy to be good.
Steven?
Coach, Steve mentioned, about how the size of the crowd here and how it imposes itself, but in the same breath, has it been an eye-opener to you to see the sort of power of the Springbok brand, so to speak, and the way South Africa's come out and support you?
Yeah, honestly, Steve, it's been, I don't know. I haven't, I don't know, it's just growing, and wherever we go, South Africans just amaze us. They go everywhere, like last week in Scotland, everywhere you go, in Edinburgh, every single coffee shop, there's just South Africans everywhere, and people are coming from all over the world to come and watch us. There's a couple of people who came from America now. It's honestly, for us as a group, the only way we can say thank you is by our efforts in the field. And that's why we always make sure that we don't worry about the scoreboard, but the people that are doing everything they can to come and support us and show the support and watch wherever they can in televisions at home and people opening malls up in late hours of the time that people that can't afford. We can't go there and not give our best each and every. We can't always promise a win, but giving our best effort is the only way we can say thank you. So the people of South Africa, without them, honestly, wouldn't be here. And they keep us accountable at times. They hurt when we hurt. Sometimes a little bit more than us, by the way they show, in the media. And we know that. We take that with us, and that's not pressure to us. That's an amazing place to be in, a place of responsibility. I always believe when a team has a purpose, when a team has playing for something bigger, it's always going to continue, especially when times get dark. And now the South African people, they really give us that kind of motivation, and they give us the purpose that we need to keep on going each and every single time.
And see, just on that, have you noticed a big change over the last few years with the kind of support you're getting?
Yeah, it's grown. And there's been a lot more people coming to watch rugby. There's been a whole lot more people of color watching rugby as well, with the kind of team that we have. Very diverse team that represent a lot of people, not just in the race, but also in backgrounds too. It's been really special, and there's been a lot of people who just started watching rugby because they've inspired by some of the stories of the people in our country. And now our women's team is doing the same thing as well. You know, they're growing. You know, they're playing well, and a whole lot more girls are starting to see the kind of work that they're doing, and that's exactly what you want. Not only in the male rugby side, but also in the women's rugby side. It's got to grow, and the more it grows in the women's rugby side, the better it is for everyone. Then rugby grows, because rugby is a big sport in the countries that it's played in. But if you look at it in the bigger scheme of things, rugby is such a small sport, and the more the women's game grows as well, and the more we can get to places that rugby doesn't get into, the better it is for the sport.
Louis?
Yeah, just given the opposition, obviously the England rivalry has been quite a spicy one over the last few years with the two World Cups. Easy not to get emotional about a game like this. I mean, does it feel a bit personal and a bit more kind of spicy than another test would, for example, last year?
No, it's always personal. That's just how we prepare ourselves for games. It's gotta be personal. I mean, it's another man trying to run through you in a game. It doesn't get more personal than that. So every game for us is personal, and this one is just because it's away. It's in Twickenham. It is a big game, and we know what they've been going through. We know how much they will, because we've been in this position before. You know, it will be for us not to be prepared for a game like this. Then we would not be learning from our own journey. You know, so we know exactly, and we know we've got a target on our back at all times. Every single team that plays against us, we have to make it as personal as possible, because we want to stay where we are and we want to grow, like New Zealand did it for so many years. So we take it personal every week, because we don't play every weekend. Our team is changing and people are getting opportunities. So every time I get this jersey, I want to fight as hard as I can so that it's difficult for Coach Rassi and Coach Stig not to pick me, you know. And yeah, so no game is more personal than the other.
Yeah, there's been some stories in newspapers overnight today about the potential for a new franchise league, sort of a club thing that goes around touring the world and playing matches. Do you think, firstly, that that'd be something that would be interesting for a player like you? And secondly, do you think that rugby below the international level needs to have a real rethink about how it's structured and how we play the game around the world?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, and I don't know about the news, so I can't really comment, to be honest. But I'm sure whoever is when I do find out, I can come back and answer the question. But I don't know
how much the international game means to you. Because if you play in a league like that, it might sacrifice your international honour.
I think that for now, there's structures in place that are coming from the top world rugby, and we're playing England tomorrow. That's the only thing that's in our heads. I'm not even aware if there's other tournaments that are coming through. But for now, for us, we enjoy the competitions we played. Southern Hemisphere teams traveling to South Africa and to the Southern Hemisphere teams in around June, July. Then we get to also do the same up north. Then you saw last weekend, you know, you can see the energy between South and North, you know. So at the moment, I don't know if there's other plans in place, but I think where we are currently, I think we're enjoying it.
I have a question about Malcolm Smith and the kind of 30 returns. After Australia last week, Graham Schmidt said, we tried to starve him with oxygen, but he just kept breathing. I just wonder how dangerous and brilliant is he?
He's good. He's amazing. You can't deny that. And that's one thing about us. We give credit where credit is due. He can play rugby. I mean, I played against him in the European Cup sometimes and played against him a couple of times. He just one of those gifted people who can do something where there's nothing happening, And one thing I love about him is young. He's not going to stop. If you stop him, he's going to keep on coming back. And that's what you want. That's what you want from a 10. And his game is growing a lot. He's kicking very well. He's kicked a couple of cross kicks that ended up being tries. So his game is growing each and every single time. But, most players who try and give up, he tries and tries and tries and keeps on trying because he's that competitive. He wants to win. I know him personally. That's why I'm speaking of him like this. He's a very good player and wants to win at all times. And it's important that a lot of young guys look at a person like that, knowing that he tries everything. He wants to make it work, but he also puts in the hard work as well. So for us, we know that we're gonna have to make sure that, like Joe Smith said, we're gonna have to keep on putting pressure on him as much as you can.
Maybe the coaches can just come from out the party and getting the opportunity this weekend against England and what we're expecting to see from the last you mentioned yesterday, how he had planned obviously a quick turnaround the team that was selected for the business.
Yeah, I think from the coaching side, one thing about Fasi, he has grown into our system. We know this is a guy. I think 2-3 years back, he was part of our squad and then didn't get a chance to come back and be part of the squad for the past few years, And for him to come back and I see growth in his own personal space as a human being, as a man, And that is one thing that I enjoy about him. And now, when it comes to the rugby, every time he got his opportunity this year, remember the game we played at Twickenham against Wales? It was his first game back, and the last game that he actually played. It was Wales in Bloemfontein. I think it was 2-2, if I'm not mistaken, or 2-1. And the game he had against Wales, 2021.
Not 2-2.
Don't look angry.
I'm just saying.
Just advice. You don't have to.
You must facts here.
You must look. I'm not sure.
I know, but I'm helping. Okay. I'm not fighting.
So yeah, he has grown, and the opportunities that he had this year, and like Sia just started it earlier on, that we trying to build our squad depth, to be able to have a guy like Fasi now pushing and putting and competing with the other guys like Vili, we know with his experience last week, the tactics that he had. So Fasi has been growing well into our system, and the way that I enjoy about him is his confidence also to bring his X factor. We were talking about Marcus Smith. That's one thing that I enjoy as a youngster who's in a position where he controls the game and he controls the team. To be able now and then you will make mistakes. But one thing that we always enjoy from the youngsters, they don't stop trying. They keep on coming back and asking questions. That's one thing that Fasi does very well, And tomorrow it's going to be a big challenge for him also because we're playing against Freddie Stewart, probably one of the best under high balls, So we know he's going to be challenged. And once again, we had to also go deep into the game against England in the semi-finals. If you look at the way they played in that game, probably they reminded us of who we were in 2019, how we were structured, our contestable kicking game. And they've mastered it last year, so that's why we struggled against them, So we expect the same thing. I think there's going to be a tough challenge on him, but I think he's growing and he's getting better as a human being and as a player also.
Yeah, I think I'm so happy for him. I think the fact that he was in the group and then he wasn't in the group again, and it's quite hard here. The criteria is you know exactly what you need to do, and you know why you don't get called back in the group. There's no gray areas. It's just black and white. And he went, and he could have given up. He went, played. It took him a while, and he had to fight. I remember when I was in France, talking to him over the phone because he really wanted to get back in the team. And the great thing about this group, he can call Coach Stick anytime, and Coach Stick will send him a message. Okay, this was good today. Where can you get better? And he did that, and I didn't know. I saw a story where he wore the Springbok jersey under his sharp jersey every game. And those are the things that, he knew what he was fighting for. And for him to be back here, I have no doubt that he knows what it feels like to be in here and also lose it. And now he's going to fight as hard as he can because it's not easy to become a Springbok, but it's much harder to stay one. That's why there's so few players were able to put on the green and gold.
Guys, we've got 10 minutes left for stickers to leave, so we're going to take these. If you can just ask one question to each of them. There, Stephen, and then at the back, and then we answer. That's fine.
Ozzy, I just want to do a quick question about your Sean cutting sound. Yesterday, one of the performers after their season. Looked at the end, particularly end of the international career to you, which you have two World Cups next year. What about him from the Brazil?
No, he's good. He's really good. He's hard. Works hard. He wants all the smoke. he wants the battles, and he carries hard. Tackles really hard. I've played against him in the European Cup as well. He's really good. You can see he wants to, like, when things are not going well, he's not scared to put his hand up and say, I'll get us momentum. I'll make the big tackles. I'll make the moments right. So I got so much respect for him. And he's really been amazing. He's been amazing for Harlequins as well. So I've seen him, what he's doing there with Dom Brown. So it's going to be a tough battle. And obviously Sam Underhill coming back, he's, for me, one of my favorites in the English team. He's a hard man. He's not scared to get into the dark places. So they've got a proper loose forward. It's going to be a proper battle for myself, Peter Steff and Jasper this weekend. Obviously, Kwacha coming on. It's going to go on for 80 minutes because that's what they do. And obviously, Ben L, he's got great footwork and he normally gets momentum for the team, counter-arcing. So it's going to be a proper test match. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's going to be a good game. I'm very sport.
I just wanted to know, players in this England team do lots to do in the 2019 and with the Lions and Tony Allen and 2022, so their motivation will be sure. When you come up against teams with so motivation, how do you play yourself?
But I think we came about how being making it personal. It's the same. If your motivation is gonna come out of somebody else, it's gonna go like this. We know what we're about. My biggest competition is the guys in my team. It's Kwacha, it's Marco van Staden. Those are the guys that push me each and every single time. What the other team is driving them, what's getting them excited, whether we're beating them or they've been them, that's not important to me. I want to be my best every single game. It doesn't matter who I'm playing against. If I'm not playing, I want to make sure that Marco is the best as he can. I will try and be Sam Underhill and do what he does on the field to make sure that Marco is the best prepared as he can, because I know he's going to do the same for me. So what's motivating them? Of course I know what's going through their head. I know what the past 2 games have been like for them, and I know what it will feel like and what it will do for the season if they can beat us. I know that it's in the back of my head, but I know I got to get myself to the best place mentally as I can to go and play there and do what I need to do, because I've got a game plan that I must focus on, and I've got my own personal goals in the game that I want to achieve. So I don't really think too much what their motivation is. If my motivation, the team's motivation is the most important for me.
Stephen?
Actually, there's a lot of hype about Marcus and Jeff Harvey said he's a really bad. But there was the same thing last week about Tim Russell and Scotland was so how much confidence do you take I can shut down if you're reactive
Yeah, Stevie, you know very well that we take pride in our strengths. We take pride in our DNA. And defense is part of our strengths in our game, how we play the game. And to be able to play against world-class players like Finn Russell and not concede a try, it shows that at least we're in the right direction, and the credit must go to our defense coach, And I know very well, I work close with him. Jerry works very, very hard. And the nice thing about him now, he has worked with Marcus at the Harlequins. He knows the player very well, and he's got a lot of respect for the player. We've also got Andre Stazen in our squad who played a couple of seasons with Marcus next to us. And then those guys, they know his strengths, they know his weaknesses. But once again, like I said, I think for us, it's more about the things that we want to implement in the game. And it's crazy to say so because of Marcus Smith. Listen, he can challenge you with his kicking game, his attacking kicking game. You saw what he has created in the past few games, the tries that he has created with his boot. And also when you give him time and space to breathe, he will punish you. He's that type of a player. So, yeah, we know he's a world-class fly-half. But once again, I think we know they're going to get it right. Doesn't mean that Scotland at times didn't get it right. There were a couple of good plays that they also had against us. The line breaks, they were just unfortunate with the tries that we were disallowed because from the knocks. But otherwise, with Finn Russell on the field, we had to make sure that we play for 80 minutes because he keeps trying, he keeps asking questions to us. So we expect the same thing from Marcus. He's going to keep on trying. And I know one thing, he's a tough kid, he doesn't shy away from the challenge, So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But I've said it before, it's going to take us 80 minutes to win the game. We can't switch off because they will punish us with the players they've got in the team.
I just want to touch on another one, looking at how we've managed to not stay to the top three in terms of the tries and just the progress we've made and what does this mean, especially for also Mzwandile, looking at how we got into the setup.
I think what Mapims has achieved, and you look at his story, it's a very, very special story, because of, once again, I know it's not easy to just talk about it, because of Mapimpi. He knows his struggles, he knows his challenge. And I know one thing for sure, there's a lot of Mapimpis out there. For me, one thing that I can take from his story is that irrespective of where you come from, if you make sure that you work hard, and opportunity comes, you need to make sure that you're ready for that opportunity. That's one thing that Mapimpi has shown. He didn't have a complaint in the past and went to make a noise on the radios or on the social media to say, listen, this is who I am, can I please get a chance? The guy, some of us in the squad, I've never worked with him before. I even worked with him at the Springboks, but we knew that there's this boy that keeps on scoring tries for the Southern Kings that we're losing. He was playing in the losing team, went to play for the Cheetahs, kept on scoring more tries. So we can't ignore someone like that, And for him, making his debut at that age and to be able to score tries every time he gets an opportunity, even when he's not in the team, he's probably one of the most loved player in our squad, and probably the most improved also, But one thing that I enjoy about him, even at his age now, Mapimpi is still a good student in the game. He's still learning. He still wants to get better in his game, and how he motivates the people around him, I think is something special. But once again, for me, I think just about his story, it's about, it is possible, irrespective of where you come from. And we know his story is a very, very tough story, And we've also got our tough stories in our backgrounds, but Mapimps. And I just wish there could be more Mapimps, where they can also get an opportunity, And I'm happy for him for what he's achieved, to achieve what he's achieved now from that amount of games. It shows how special he was, Imagine if that guy played probably 4 years earlier, that maybe he could have been one of the top try scorers in the history of the Springboks. But once again, I'm also happy for the other guys like Chesley. Every time when they get an opportunity, they make sure that they create it with both hands. Ketley Adams is also pushing, So I'm happy for my Pims, and we enjoy having him in our squad.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And see you.
I'm still waiting for translation, man.
You've been waiting a while.